Harry Styles isn't singing, Kenneth Branagh is not Gilderoy Lockhart, and Tom Hardy's eyes are the greatest actors in the world. This is Another Opinion on Dunkirk. Christopher-rated Nolan's war thriller Dunkirk is finally here. Yes, he is overrated, but first let's talk about the movie. Dunkirk depicts the Battle of Dunkirk that took place during World War II. But unlike other World War II movies, this film is not about the trauma people experienced during World War II, like Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan. No, this movie is about all the things that happen around these people. Bombs, planes, battleships. Watching the movie, it felt like watching a little boy play with his new army toys on Christmas morning, just like, oh, this guy goes over here, and then the plane goes, bah! And judging by the Rotten Tomatoes score, a lot of people were into that, but I was not so into it. I will admit, I walked into this movie a little skeptical. I had fallen off of the Nolan train a little bit when I sat and reflected on his old movies and realized he's not the best at character development. I never felt very invested in Cobb as much as I did so in the story of Inception, the concept, and the visuals. I could watch JGL spin around in a room all day, every day. It's the best. But in terms of his character, whatever happened to him, I wouldn't have cried. And I cried during Interstellar, but that's only because I felt like I was forced to by Hans Zimmer's score that just, I feel like Nolan was over him just saying, louder, 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 force the tears out of them, louder. And it worked. And also the attempts at romance in The Prestige felt a little cold to me. And in the Dark Knight trilogy, the relationship between Rachel and Batman, it's not, I mean, that's not what you go into those movies for, but it's nice to have that there. I like Nolan's aesthetics, but I like my movies both aesthetically pleasing and relatable. And I feel like a way to make a movie feel relatable is through the characters. And I don't feel like he cares too much about his characters. Dunkirk is aesthetically pleasing. The opening shot, it's in the trailer. Watching in the theater, the big screen, I was staggered, and I felt for a moment, okay, maybe we were all right in calling Nolan one of the greatest directors in the world. But then the movie kept ticking. Kept throwing explosion after explosion, cool shot after cool shot. And I love cool shots, but if you jumble them all up in one movie, they just become meh shots. Especially when there's no emotional center to glue all those pieces together and make those shots mean something. I do like that Nolan tried to execute this idea of a war thriller that doesn't have all the fluff such as backstory and themes of brotherhood you see in other war movies, but this film proves that stuff is not fluff. You need that backstory to care about where these characters are going, to care about when these characters are in this tight, compact room being shot at. I wanted to care about these characters, but Nolan didn't let me do that. It's almost like he tried not to let me do that. He said, don't worry about the characters, they're just dolls, they're just the little green things you used to play with. Don't worry about them, just look at my explosions, look how I can blow everything up. It's almost a really sophisticated Michael Bay movie. Is that bad? At least there's no racist robots. But there is very little dialogue in this movie. There wouldn't be any room for racist robots. And I don't mind quiet movies like Lost in Translation. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. But here's the thing, you can't have your characters barely talk when most of them are British. Let us hear their beautiful accents. Come on, how often do we get to... Okay, very often we see British people in movies, but more is not a crime. Let me hear them talk. Speaking of beautiful accents, Harry Styles is in this movie, and if you know that coming into this movie, you'll probably be like me and wonder, where's Harry? Where's Harry? Don't worry, he comes in. The amount of things he's able to do with the little he is given is just fantastic, and I honestly cannot wait to see him in more movies, hopefully a musical, so we could hear that voice of his that is almost as sexual as his hair. Tom Hardy is also in this movie. He's mostly stuck in a little plane for most of the movie, but if you have seen Locke, you have seen the things Tom Hardy can do when he is in a confined space, and I gotta tell you, he is maybe the best part of this movie, at least his eye. There are moments, oh boy, when his eye is great. And I'll give you one more thing, one sort of scene that sort of sums up all of the film. There's a part, this isn't a spoiler, where Tom Hardy's on a plane. There's another guy on a plane, and this other guy, he goes down to the ocean. He doesn't sink or anything. He's just sort of skids there, and you're watching it at first from Tom Hardy's perspective, and it looks like it went smoothly. It doesn't look like anything bad happened. But then a couple scenes later, you see the same scene again, but from the perspective of the guy in the plane, and you see how brutal that landing on the ocean was. And I feel like that's what Nolan was trying to do with this movie, sort of show that all along with every every war movie we've seen, with every bit of news that we see about war, we are Tom Hardy looking out into the sky on a plane, and it seems okay. Like, you don't want that guy in that situation, but it seems like it went fine. When really, it's brutal. It's tough. And the movie tried to do that. I don't think it did it in the best way possible, but I can see what it was going for. I can see why people like it, but it wasn't for me, because I need my characters to be developed. And they don't have to be likable. I just need them there. So Dunkirk, good acting, nice visuals. The first 20 minutes are super tense, but then the rest of the movie is like those first 20 minutes, so the suspense is not really sustained. But it is not a bad movie. Watching it, I sort of felt like I do when I listen to this song by Pavement. It's called Fillmore Jive. The whole song is basically crescendos. It's just building, 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 building to explosions. Building, building, explosion, build, explosion, build, explosion, the whole song. And it's awesome, but I never finish the song. I take my earphones off 3/4 of the way through, and that's what I wanted to do with Dunkirk. Just skip 3/4 of the way through. With that said, Dunkirk, I give it 6 heavy style heads out of 10. A very high 6. Very high 6. Almost a low 7. It's just wasn't for me. Watch the movie, especially if you're interested in British people fighting in a war that doesn't involve horses, wigs, or wands. You'll enjoy it. So like, comment if you have any thoughts about this. I want to hear why people like this movie too. I'd love to understand, because I know a lot of people out there do. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll have a new review out probably every Friday, and I'll probably do some reviews of older movies. Who knows when? This is a new channel. Follow me on Twitter. It's also in the description at chrisville97. Enjoy your day.